to wear makeup in a very natural manner. Let me show you how to wear it using nothing but color, just pigmented color, very minimal, very little product on the skin. I'm Althea Gobble. I'm an independent Seint Beauty artist, and I really specialize in ways how to wear makeup that it's undetectable on the skin and allowing your skin to show through and look its best. If you have any questions about what I'm doing or the colors I'm using, you can ask them in the comments. I'd love to help. If you wish to be color matched and need some kind of consultation on how to apply this on you, you can go to yes.altheamatchme.com and I'll be glad to help you. You can grab all the things that I'm using at altheagobble.com as well. Please like and share the video, and I would really appreciate that. Share it with your friends, and let's get started. I'm first going to start with the brows, because brows doesn't matter if I'm going to wear makeup that day or not. But forgot. I'm going to go ahead and prep my skin with a little bit of primer. This is Plush Prep Mist. I really love this. It's got some caffeine in it, hyaluronic acid, glycerin, that kind of thing. What I really love it is it has the perfect amount of ratio of each one of the ingredients, so that is kind on your skin and all different skin types. So really love this one. It's not got too much of each type of ingredient in it, just a perfect nice balance, and it will enhance your skincare that you're already using. Just opened a new bottle because I gave my other bottle to my daughter. She had to have it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just like tap it in. I only like to use like maybe 2 fingers. That way I'm not removing all the product onto other places, surface area. So let that dry, and while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows, because whether I am wearing makeup or not, I'm going to do my brows. This is a L'Oreal, really like this one, L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Feel, and I think this is in a medium brown. No, it's called brunette. Sorry, got it wrong. I really love it because it's got a very nice crayon feel to it, and so you can really apply it quickly. Now, if you don't have a lot of hair, I would grab something that has a little finer point to it. But this one's really good, especially if you have I have some gray and blonde hair in there, and it actually attaches to the hair as well at the same time and warms them up just a little, so that it doesn't look like they're just floating off my skin, because they're so light. Just really quick. Now, I really love wearing makeup in a way that's minimal and very little on the skin. All right, I'm going to try, if you've been following me for a little while, you know I've added color into the light areas, and I know that's a pretty foreign concept for a lot of you. So I also want to give you an option that if you didn't want to do that, the concept is always going to be the same, is balancing color on the skin. This to me is a very friendly way to use nothing but pigmented color, and again, changing and balancing the coloring on the skin. I'm going to start, this is everything in my palette. I'm going to get this beautiful orange. We have an 05, an orange 5, beautiful, very pigmented. It will go on sheerly. Now, could you put this on to where it's very opaque? Absolutely. Sheerly meaning we want this to filter on the skin and not to cover on the skin. I'm going to use this orange in all light and pale areas. Just really hanging on to that cold a little bit. So this is 05. I'm going to use a nice silky brush. This is called the Shape Brush. And you can see If you're using this correctly, you wouldn't have to clean your brushes a whole lot, although I highly recommend at least clean them every 2 weeks, a deep clean. But because I'm using very little product, it's not getting back into the ferrule of the brushes. And anywhere you want to be warmed up. So I have a lot of blue veins, as you can see. My skin has changed and become more translucent and lack of color. So this is going to work really well just to give me some warmth without adding a brown product. But you can see how that's no longer fair. That just looks nice and balanced. I'm going to put my hair back here. And I'm going to do the same thing there. See that blue vein? Just going to add a little bit of warmth. Just in these little small areas that are kind of light. And notice I'm not being very specific. See that little light spot? Add a little bit of warmth on that. So light areas, the reason why this works, they are icy, meaning they can be on the low spectrum of color from lilac to light blue. So this orange works because it's dropping in color, the opposite of blue, and the blue that's in lilac is the opposite of it. So it's going to neutralize that tone. And since it's a high saturation of orange, it's dropping in some color at the same time. And see, there's a vein. Now, if you, sometimes I will have the tendency to get some redness in here. I would do a different color to pull back some of that color. But my skin will change and so will yours. So you just play along with it. And since I'm using so little, it may seem like I'm just keep adding more. It's just because I'm getting it to the depth of the level of tone that I'm looking for. So right here in the jowl part is this kind of really reflected. See this part of my lip? See how it's just super light compared to this? So I'm gonna add a little bit of color. And when you're using nothing but color like crayons, you can overlap different colors and create another one. And that's the reason I like to work with just true color. Do you see how that's so much softer and looks more in balance? So now I look like I'm not dead. Oh, that's a good thing. So I like to right here in my neck, right in there, you know, it's like a little white icy patch. Okay, now that's 05. So many uses of that. You can use it on your lips. You can use it on your eyes. I love it. It's such an easy color to have and everybody needs it. Honest to Pete. All right, now, it's really time for me to clean my brushes because I use different colors. Like I need to use a yellow now and I don't have an end that doesn't have another color on it. So it's time for me to clean my brushes. I'm going to use this dome brush. This is called the Blur Brush. And I'm going to use just a hint of this yellow color. This is a yellow orange. And notice how it's lower on the spectrum of saturation than this one. So this is a 1. So it has some yellow and it has some orange in it. So I have some red areas currently because, you know, your skin is constantly changing. And I'm just toning down some of the redness in areas where I don't want some redness. Now, if this was in my cheeks, I wouldn't do this, but a little bit of this. And we have another one. I don't have it in this palette, but it's a little more yellow. All right, a little more yellow that you can use. So right here in the crease of my nose, very violet, pinkish red. And I'm just being like, okay, I'm gonna take away most of that redness there. And you don't really see the product on the skin at all. That's the goal. I don't want to put it on, then blend. I'm only using the end of these bristles and barely tapping. So these little tins should last you a very long while. A very long while. Okay, now that's given me some nice balance. Now I'm going to add a cheek color. I'm going to I have different ones here. I have Black Cherry, Ruby. These are just little tins. I don't know if you guys remember that one time we had like a little special and you could buy them. I love the little tins. I hope they come back and they do another little special like that because I love them. This makes it so nice. But this is Fig. I'm going to use Fig today. It's a very saturated color. It's not got a white base to it, and I really love using cheek colors that don't have a heavy white base because it's more versatile, in my opinion. I'm going to use this small end of this shape brush, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of pigment, and this is a new tin. I may have gotten too much. Do you see that? It's very pigmented. It's okay. We'll roll with it. And I'm only going to see how I turn my brush down onto its side. That way I'm only using the ends of the bristles, and I'm adding some color where I would flush, and mainly focusing on areas where I don't have any redness and it's kind of fair. See that right in there? Do the same thing here. See that little, I just want the slightest amount. See, I'm barely touching my skin with this brush. And it's just going to give me a nice little natural flush, which I'm looking for. I've done this so many different ways, and the reason why I got a piece of fuzz that just went into my eyeball. The reason why I can do this in so many different ways is because I'm using very pigmented color. When we're using beiges and browns, you're kind of limited. Now that's going to annoy me. I got a piece of fuzz in my eyeball, guys. Probably from the sweater. All right. I feel like I got too much there, but my skin does react, and yours will too. When touched, it's very common to get some redness. So always touch lightly and let it calm down to really see the color that you applied, how it truly looks on the skin. Do you see this little light patch here? And then a little bit of redness there. I want to balance that a little bit because it is in an area that I would like to have a flush. And it also at the same time is going to sculpt my cheek. See this right here, a little light area? It's very shadowed. I'm more hollow on this side than I am this side. So I don't want to add more hollowness in that area, but I do want to warm up this little light patch and bring it near the eye. And then just underneath that, just a little. And again, this tin probably would last me 10 years because you're using it so surely. And this is the goal. We're just creating a color filter over the face, like you're just tinting. Okay. Now I want a little bit of pink, so I'm going to clear up, clean off the end of this brush, and I'm going to pick up this very vibrant pink called Ruby, just a hint. And on the top section, and you'll see I got too much. I'm not going to sweat it. I mean, this is very pigmented. And I can just take my finger, you can take a brush, and I'm just going to press up higher here, just to add a little more vibrancy. because the fig is a more of a very muted color, but still yet very pigmented. There we go. All right, now a couple more things. On my nose, I have some discoloration, some lightness, but I need a smaller brush. So I'm going to use a smaller brush. I need to clean my brushes. Today is the day. All right, I'm going to use this little small end. I've cleaned off most of the products on there, and I'm going to use a little bit of this 05 for these little light spots that are on the top part of my nose. If you have a very oily nose and you want to do this same thing, here's a little tip for you, and it works really, really well, is take this blotting dust. This is feathered blotting dust. Take just your finger, just a little bit, and give it a little tap all over the nose, and make sure it's nice and not like dusty. You just want to make sure it's nice and on the skin. Let it set for just a second and then do this. It will not create, it will eliminate that slippery surface where you can apply the pigmented color. Do you see how it doesn't just add a little bit of color into those little light spots? That's probably from sun damage over the years, that kind of thing. Yay, because I was not a very good girl and stayed in the sun when I shouldn't have. But that iciness, now it looks like my nose matches with my face. I still have a couple things I want to do with it, but it's definitely better than what it was. Now I'm going to use that same brush and clean it off because, wait a second, is this one? Ah, I found one. Okay, I gotta clean my brushes. I know I said that already, but all right, I'm gonna use another little skinny brush, and I'm gonna use this color called Black Cherry. It's a red violet, and I'm gonna use it underneath my eyes. I know that seems strange. I wanna use it underneath my eyes to excuse me again, to bring back some blood flow that's no longer there, because as I have aged, you know, you're losing collagen, you're losing a lot of supply there, and sometimes the little light spots are more amplified, or the dark is more amplified because of those light spots. So I'm just going to mimic some blood flow underneath my eyes, just a little bit. I don't want to make them look red. I am like barely touching those areas, and I'm only touching with the ends of the bristles. And do you see how that is a lot softer? So you compare the difference. I still have a little bit of dark right there, but I'm not going over that. But it's not as strong. So then I would just subtract some of that darkness. But it's a lot easier to do now that I've added some color. So yeah, just these little light patches. Surprise me. So take a little bit of Black Cherry, just a little, and if you get too much, don't sweat it. You can just tap it out and see. Let me show you this way. It's a nice, pretty angle. Now you can do this concept if this scares you. You can do it with contour. You can do it with the orange. I can do this with the orange. It's just, please don't think that playing with color is hard pressed and it's exact. I mean, yeah, I could put something crazy there and it's not going to do what I want, but I've got multiple colors that I can do this concept with because it is color. It's hard to do this with beige foundation and concealer because you're putting beige over top of beige. Your skin is beige. It's some kind of level of beige, from very light to very pigmented and very rich skin tone. It's still beige. It's brown. Okay, it's either light brown or dark brown, but it's brown. So adding brown on top of brown is only going to allow you to see texture of the product. And sometimes it doesn't bother people. It's just a method because that I want to, it's not a method. It's a, let me get my words. It's something, a cost that I'm not willing to pay when I don't have to have product noticeable on the skin because I already have texture skin. I'm fixing to turn 54. And I have wrinkles, I have large pores, and I got a lot of little things going on. But I just rather my skin look its best and not see that I've had to try to put on makeup on skin that is very textured, and the type of makeup using beige is only going to add more texture. Boy, did I just go round in circles on that. Okay, so all of these little light spots, do you see that? So much better. Now, this definitely has to be addressed, but you see, it's not as strong anymore. So I'm gonna let that rest. So I feel pretty balanced there. I do have some areas of where I want to subtract some excess color, but I'm gonna go ahead and do my lips and do my eyes, and then we'll subtract color and we'll be done. Super easy peasy. All right. I'm going to, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to use I cleaned that off. I'm going to use the Fig. This is Fig. And I'm going to use this little brush. And my lips have light areas around the perimeter. And so then it has dark and then it has light. I think a lot of that is sun damage over the years. I like to take right down underneath here and kind of go down lower. My lip is actually there, but it's collapsed in due to age, and so it reveals lightness underneath there. So I'm just adding that back. So I'm gonna take what's left on my brush and I'm just going to blend that just a little. And soften it. I'm going to take the black cherry and tap it in the center, kind of like a tint. Lots of trucks. Live in the country, so hearing big trucks is all day long. And I like to do a little at a time and let it basically stain. I love that color. Love that color. I'm going to take what's left on my finger. Just not waste it. Okay. Now I'm going to do my eyes. I'm going to use this little brush called the Etch Brush and clean off the little dome area. And I'm going to pick up this orange. And I have tattooed eyeliner. So I am just going to neutralize the depth of that blue. Do you see the difference? That dark tattoo black definitely has blue pigment in it. So the orange is going to neutralize that blue and make it more of a brown and soften it. And I feel like this changes the depth and darkness underneath my eyes, like immediately. Do you see how now this looks already softer? Do you see how this is very, excuse me, harsh, but it amplifies anything around it that's in that same category of depth of color. But when I soften, neutralize that, then this all gets softer. Like my shadows are not as intense. My blue veins are not as blue. So the brain will translate anything of depth of color to anything that's near it. See, that's a lot softer. I still have some dimension around my eyes, but it just really, really softens that blue tattooing. Love it. Now I'm going to add a little bit. Actually, I'm going to pick up a which one do I want to do? I'm going to pick up another dome brush. This is the blur brush. I'm going to clean it off. And I'm going to take a little bit of this orange 5 and these little light areas above my eyes and right in there. Do you see how that, like we did at the very beginning using the orange, it's automatically adding a little bit of color in there, but it doesn't look orange. I don't want to apply this in a manner that it's very opaque orange on the skin. I'm using it very sheerly, and it creates a colored filter over those areas and softens. I like that. I'm going to take a little bit of Fig with my finger, and right there in the outer corner, just like so, I want to tap a little bit of Fig for a little bit of color right on the lid. And I'm just tapping and pressing because I have crinkly eyelids, and I want this to be very sheer. Getting too much, I mean, this most likely will crease because I have creases on my lid because this is a cream. But if I tap and press and get it all in the areas and try to remove the excess of it, it will crease less. I can put a little powder on there as well over top of that, and we'll do that with the blotting dust. Okay. I like that. All right, now we're going to work on subtracting the color. I pick up a little tiny brush. We'll start with the eyes, and now these little areas in here. Just to make it simple, I'm just going to use this 01. It's a low, this is an 05, this is 01. So this is orange, but it's the other end, it's the low spectrum. So it has just a little bit of orange pigment in it. So I just want to subtract the depth of the darkness just a little bit. I don't want to subtract it all because then it would just be white again. I just want to balance it with what's around it. So 01's a really easy one. And it's never the entire area, as you will see. It's really some dark little veins in there and some dark pigment. So I just kind of pixelate. Do you see that? And see, here's a little red. I can use either one of these. Just to make it simple, I'm going to show you how I can, this little red spot. It's just going to subtract the depth of the color. If I want to subtract all the red from it, I would use a yellow. Do you see that? But then it's going to not leave me some color there and make a white spot. So this 01, or if you're a little, if they're pretty dark, you would use an 03, which is the middle saturation of orange. Do you see that? That was super quick. Try not to cough. All right, let's do the same thing. Do you see this? It really is not, when I pull it down like that, it's some dark freckles in there. They just happen to be in a recess area. It is a divot, as you can call it. So I don't want to put in product in a divot, because divots are like a bowl. So the edges here are going to, I'm sorry for constantly clearing my throat. I hope that doesn't bother you. But if you have a bowl and you have light casting down, so most of the times these sides of the bowl are going to be a little bit darker, and the bottom of the bowl, which you're going to see, is going to have a lightening effect. So if I put product right into that bowl that's all one shade, this is just going to get lighter, and these will get somewhat lighter. So instead of worrying about adding color all into the divot, I'm just focusing on what's dark. Okay, so that's the reason why you will not see me, and I don't recommend. And see this little tiny, this is a little artist paintbrush from Amazon. I don't know its number, it's already worn off. I don't know, I've had it for a few years. And see, look, now I've got too much product. Do you see that? It's okay, you're gonna do that sometimes. You just tap it away. There's just a couple of little dull shadow things in there that I'm wanting to address. Gosh, just so easy. Just so easy. Okay, now I already took out the red using that yellow right in there. But there's some dark veins in there, so I'm just going to address them just by tapping right on top of it. Really, really love that. All right, now here's your little trick. Red is going to subtract everything that resembles pigment, so your skin. So you got to be very careful with it. It's the most brightening that you can use. So right here on your cheek, and it's very common for everyone that I've worked with, the bone, the orbital bone right there, okay? So you get this illusion here that it droops all the way down, and what it ends up being, even though in your eyes it doesn't look like it's green or pigment, there's always a little collection of pigment that sits right there. And adding a little bit of that red, that little pink red one, right in there. This one's up to the left a little more on me. But do you see how that just brightens that up a lot? Love it. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to wipe off my brush, go back to 01, and any distractions that are small, if I get too much. So the orange just subtracts the depth of color just a little bit. That blue vein is very, very subtle. But what I do is this, you never follow the vein. The vein doesn't follow, I just kind of dot over top of it. You know, like you're making a dotted 3-4 dots, and it will subtract it. Do you see? This is basically bare skin, but it's not one color like foundation will give you. I'm just fixing the little interruptions. All right, see this little shadow in there? Using just a dot. I'm barely touching. And do you see how I don't want to add a bunch of product, then try to blend it, okay? But it's sometimes you're going to get too much on your brush. I like to lay my brush down into the product first. Okay, this little dark spot here. This color works great on like little melasma spots, that kind of thing. You're not trying to cover the entire spot, you're just taking away the depth of color that's within inside the spot. So I know that probably like, okay, I don't know what that means. Just dot it in the darkest spot inside of the area. You don't want to try to cover an entire age spot or sunspot. Just take away the depth of the most distracting color. Okay, now this is a fairly large little pink spot, and I need some yellow for that. So this is Y01, and same thing. Notice how I'm just dotting over top of little areas in there. Even if you can't see exactly the darkest spot within that, you're just pixelating the color over the area, and it will take care of it. So the top part of my lip, some dark areas in here. I have lines over my lips, so I want to be very careful to not put product and just make those lines. Like again, like I described about the bowl, the lines are going to have same thing. Sometimes the line, the deepest part of it, it's the sides of that line in the little crevice that are creating the shadow, and the bottom of it is reflecting. So you just don't want to put product in the line. Remember I added some color using the 05 to warm up the lip a little bit. I'm going to use the 03, but it's just a little more. I don't want to subtract too much color. I just want to balance those little dark spots. And using that 03 is a very friendly color to do that with for most. But if you need help doing this, which colors to use and to play around with, you can go to yes.outtherematchme.com and I can help you. And you can grab these colors. Seriously, you just grab these colors and play along. You will quickly say, oh, I really like that color on me. It works really good on this spot. It's by trial and error. It's how anyone learns. Okay, now in my lip, do you see those little dark? I don't want to subtract and create a light spot, so I'm just going to take just a little bit of the depth of it away using the 03. And I just kind of dot over top of it. And now it's in balance with the rest of my lip. Using some Y01 for some dark little spots in there. All right, almost done. On my nose, I have some large pores. I'm going to take this color 03. I mean, not 03, 01. And I'm just barely going to touch into, I don't want to put it into the pore, but if it goes into the pore, don't sweat it. It's okay. it's not going to stay there. It's going to work its way out. So this is a neat little tip that really, really helps if you have some large pores there. I don't want to cover the whole nose because, you know, I have some damage of some light spots. I had some light spots in there that I added the color to, so I don't want to go backwards. So I'm going to let that set for just a second and then either use your finger or a brush. I'm not blending or pulling, I'm tapping up and down and pulling out the product that was sitting on the pore. And I can see too much product right there. Very good. All right, now, last step. Before mascara, we're going to add, again, I need to clean my brushes. Okay, I said it again. Oh, here it is. I'm going to use this is the spot brush. I'm going to use this in, and I'm going to help minimize the look of pores and that kind of thing using the blotting dust. And I add just a little, and I apply it onto my nose. Right in here. So I have some large pores. And right in there. And I don't want this underneath my eyes. I just want a little bit of softening of the shine, and this will help minimize the look of the pores on my nose. You can also take this to the side parts of the face where your hair touches so it doesn't remove product. This ends up being, it's not I can't describe it as a powder. It's called a feather blotting dust because that is the perfect name. It feels just like a feather. You can also, to keep from your lips like bleeding color, which I've never had a problem with this product ever doing that. Oh guys, oh yeah, I want to do right here. Just a little to help with any creasing on the eyelid. All right, I'm done. I'm gonna put on some mascara and I'm finished. I'm using this telescopic. I went back. I wish the double extend had a tinier brush, but it doesn't. I really love the removing of a tubular mascara. But I went back to this one. I love the small, skinny wand. Really love it. But it's not as friendly removing. It doesn't hurt my lashes. It's not waterproof. It's just, you have to do a little extra. With the tubular, it just gets wet and it just glides off. And I really love that. But if I can find one that has a smaller brush, and I'm sure it has something to do with creating the tubes. It needs a bigger brush, but I'll keep looking. I could experiment with this wand into that product and see if it works. All right, guys, I'm going to put on my mascara off camera. I'll share my before and afters. If you have any questions about anything I have used, ask me in the comments. I appreciate any kind of shares and likes of the video as well. If you wish to grab some of these colors, you can go to altheagobble.com and you can grab them there, or you can need a consultation or need help with color placement. You can go to yes.altheamatchme.com and I'll be glad to help you. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it so much. Be looking for the before and after. Have a great evening. Have a great day. It's in the afternoon.